I have been researching this deeply, verifying many sources. There is intentionally vague information on the coronavirus, which is actually called SARS-2 and remained coronavirus disease 2019, abbreviated as COVID-19, in order to fool the public into not realizing it's the alpha version of SARS 2004 and the Middle Eastern MERS. Every so-called expert scientist and doctors seem only to have basic information over coronavirus and repeat vague information about the coronavirus based only on what the WHO, the World Health Organization, and the CDC health officials claimed and reported, which left patients to die on ventilators. The WHO misled the public and intentionally gave vague information over the coronavirus, making up exaggerated claims of the coronavirus being untreatable based on Chinese false claims that tried to cover up the coronavirus, which China failed miserably to treat due to China's poor, skilled, improperly trained and poorly educated medical doctors and medical system. WHO was bribed by Chinese officials with more than $30 million given WHO public speakers on April 25, 2020. If Chinese medics had treated the pneumonia instead of being focused on killing the coronavirus, their patients would not have died. China and other health officials and doctors around the world became too focused on trying to destroy the coronavirus, though all they had to do was give antibiotics to destroy the bacteria that infects the lungs and causes suffocation, when the coronavirus had caused inflammation to the lung alveoli sacs, allowing bacteria to accumulate in the alveoli sacs, causing pneumonia that caused many patients to die of suffocation. Many patients were not treated properly but were given a ventilator if they had pneumonia, which caused patients to suffocate to death. This was due to the fact that the WHO intentionally misinformed the public on what type of disease the coronavirus was, which is simply a common relative of the influenza and other cold viruses. Thus many patients were neglected at hospitals when they had pneumonia complications. This was all thanks to the WHO, China, and even the CDC. What I did was look at how the influenza virus attacks the body and how the immune system responds. The coronavirus has always been just another cold virus, and the new coronavirus, which is really SARS-2 renamed COVID-19, is just another type of cold virus like the influenza as well. Influenza and coronavirus and even SARS attacks the body in the same way, causing the same symptoms and immune system response. The influenza and coronavirus cause the same symptoms and look almost identical in appearance and infect red blood cells, destroying red blood cells. The immune system, the white blood cells, respond by killing the virus and the infected red blood cells. The white blood cells causes fever, headache, and the inflammation of the lungs when it's seeking out the influenza virus or coronavirus by destroying the infected red blood cells, which are the common symptoms experienced with coronavirus, influenza, and other various cold viruses, though vomiting and diarrhea may occur also to some patients. However, once bacterial pneumonia occurs in the alveoli sacs, these same symptoms occur and worsen because the white blood cells are trying to fight off the bacteria in the alveoli sacs in the lungs, thus either increasing the symptoms or prolonging the symptoms, because during that time the white blood cells are not only trying to fight off the coronavirus or influenza virus but bacterial pneumonia as well. That's why doctors must give antibiotics to destroy the bacterial pneumonia in the alveoli sacs in the lungs to prevent suffocation. This doesn't mean the patient will be cured of the coronavirus, but the patient will be able to breathe while the white blood cells destroy the coronavirus or influenza virus without having to fight off the bacterial pneumonia as well. However, with both the influenza and coronavirus, the white blood cells attack the infected blood cells and the virus itself in the lung, which causes constricting and causes inflammation to the alveoli sacs in the lung, where the transfer of oxygen into the blood occurs and where transfer of the carbon dioxide out of the blood, which is toxic and acidic, occurs. The inflammation to the alveoli sacs in the lungs causes bacteria, primarily the bacteria Streptococcus, to build up as mucus, thus flooding the alveoli sacs, causing suffocation, which is asphyxia. Coronavirus causes the same pneumonia as influenza or any other cold virus, but people should realize it's the bacteria inside the alveoli that is causing the pneumonia, not the coronavirus or influenza. The bacteria can remain inside the lungs for weeks after the immune system destroys the coronavirus, influenza, or another cold virus. The white blood cells will eventually destroy the coronavirus and influenza virus, but the body needs to breathe, the reason why antibiotics should be given to patients with advanced pneumonia so that they don't suffocate to death. As inflammation occurs, bacteria and other opportunistic viruses infect the alveoli sacs, causing a buildup of mucus filled with bacteria to build up in the sacs, preventing the intake of oxygen, preventing the release of carbon dioxide, thus causing suffocation either slowly or quickly depending on how fast the infection of bacteria occur in the alveoli sacs in the lungs. The suffocation leads to organ failure, cardiac arrest, and brain failure, causing loss of conscience and death. It's not the coronavirus or influenza that kills, rather the bacterial pneumonia stage, where bacteria infect the alveoli sacs, causing suffocation leading to organ death and brain death. Infections in toes and fingers is common in coronavirus and influenza virus as well, because those parts of the body are slowly dying due to the loss of oxygen. Cardiac arrests and strokes can occur also in patients with influenza, coronavirus and other cold viruses because of the loss and decrease of oxygen and buildup of carbon dioxide. Now there are treatments to avoid getting bacterial pneumonia stage by drinking vitamin C fruits like orange juice, lemon, tomatoes, in order to help increase white blood cells and help replenish white blood cells so that the coronavirus is destroyed before it causes bacterial pneumonia in the lungs by constricting the blood vessels in the alveoli and causing inflammation to the alveoli sacs, which causes the buildup bacterial pneumonia in the alveoli sacs. However, if the bacterial pneumonia stage occurs, there are antibiotics that can be administered to kill the bacteria that tries to enter the alveoli air sacs, even though there are no antivirals for the coronavirus which the immune system itself will destroy. Why antibiotics aren't being administered to patients is because doctors and medics think that because there is no antiviral medicine or antibiotics to kill coronavirus, it's useless to administer antibiotics against opportunistic bacteria that infect alveoli sacs during pneumonia stage. Because they are unaware that the coronavirus is similar to the influenza virus, and most don't realize how pneumonia occurs, and most doctors think that the coronavirus and influenza is actually causing the pneumonia inside the alveoli sacs, failing to realize the bacterial pneumonia is the result of inflammation to the alveoli sacs due to cold viruses like coronavirus and influenza, and that the bacteria need to be destroyed in the alveoli sacs in order for patient to breathe correctly. Besides this, if no antibiotics were available to kill the bacteria pneumonia, or none were desired, there are traditional medicine herbs like ginger, green tea, peppermint, eucalyptus leaves, and hot pepper that can help clear the entire lungs, even the alveoli, by destroying the bacteria that infect the lungs. What is occurring in the medical field is that all of them are relying on the WHO, the CDC and top health officials to give them advice on how to treat the coronavirus, but WHO and CDC have told every medic and doctor there is no cure, just to shove a ventilator into a patient, which is basically life support if the patient is in pneumonia stage, and expect them to die. Instead of trying to cure the pneumonia by destroying the bacteria, they are trying to kill the coronavirus, which they can't, as viruses are hard to destroy, and even the influenza can't be destroyed because they hide in the red blood cells. But like I said, the coronavirus doesn't kill the bacterial pneumonia stage caused by the coronavirus, and influenza does by suffocation. All cold viruses, the influenza, rhinovirus, and coronavirus, always attack the lungs and respiratory system, causing pneumonia. There is no such thing as a new virus without a cure, because the influenza virus is always mutating, thus becoming a new virus. It is misleading to label the coronavirus severe acute respiratory syndrome, because every cold virus causes respiratory complications, which is pneumonia, and it's not the coronavirus or influenza virus that is causing the respiratory problems, but other bacteria. Even if the coronavirus is killed by the immune system, the pneumonia stage still can remain because the bacteria have infected the alveoli air sacs in the lungs. What happened was the USA and Europe took Chinese officials' misleading, poorly researched claims over the coronavirus, which misled the public into believing the coronavirus was a deadly virus equal to Ebola, and the Black Death. Because Chinese medics and doctors are improperly trained and lack the high standard education and standards to handle a deadly viruses and simple bacteria, China couldn't handle a simple coronavirus, so they resorted to claiming that the coronavirus was untreatable, unknown, and deadly, at the same time making up exaggerated claims, while at the same time the Chinese government and the ruthless warmonger communistic dictator Xi Jinping started silencing most medics and doctors with only one Chinese doctor spreading online rumors, causing propaganda, fear and terrifying panic around the World Wide Web. China had actually leaked the virus out of a lab in Wuhan, so they provided false evidence, fake treatments, and false manipulated medical documentation over the coronavirus to the point of not even revealing the real first coronavirus patients and dates of their medical visits to hospitals. To this day the virus is unknown when it really started infecting people, and chances are it may have been several months or more than a year before the month of December 2019 when it was officially documented by Chinese officials to have had the first coronavirus patient and patients, which they later on claimed it was November. Since China is untrustworthy as its ruthless dictatorship warmonger Xi Jinping leader can't be trusted, nor none of their medical research or medical files on the coronavirus should be held as reliable or trusted, as they are full of deceiving lies in order to deceive the USA in order to avoid a war with the USA over the coronavirus, since they leaked it out of a lab in Wuhan, China, as coronavirus likely is a spilled biological weapon. With who the World Health Organization trying to cover up for China and at the same time misleading and lying to other World Health professionals that the virus was untreatable, making claims that it was nothing like the influenza. Many doctors and medics did not try treating the coronavirus like the flu virus, where antibiotics are given to patients with pneumonia to destroy the opportunistic pneumonia bacteria, but not the actual coronavirus, which the white blood cells would destroy. When the pneumonia was left untreated, most patients suffocated and died because they were not able to breathe correctly. If Chinese doctors had tried treating the pneumonia instead of trying to destroy the coronavirus, they would have prevented patients from suffocating to death, because they would have destroyed the foreign opportunistic bacteria infecting the lungs. But since Chinese doctors lack the proper medical knowledge, because China is a third world country with poorly trained, poorly educated, and poorly skilled medics and doctors that only have basic knowledge and fall tremendously behind the biological and medical field compared to the USA and Europe. The World Health Organization deceived the world and convinced the world that the coronavirus was an untreatable virus, thus causing many doctors to neglect their patients, leaving many patients to die on ventilators instead of giving antibiotics for the bacterial pneumonia stage. China dictator Xi Jinping, a warmonger, has recently paid $30 million to the WHO top officials because they made up lies about the coronavirus in order to help China out. Xi Jinping has established himself the dictator of China, giving himself unlimited presidential terms, making him dictator. He has arrested and killed any political opponents or civilians who have spoken up against his regime, and has established internet censorship. Xi Jinping has been threatening nuclear war over Taiwan and political power over other Asian countries like South Korea, threatening that China will attack if USA tries to invade any Chinese or Asian territory. Xi Jinping has been upgrading its nuclear weapons and military, preparing to attack USA and Europe. It was Xi Jinping who is behind the coronavirus leaked in Wuhan, China, because it was a biological weapon. Xi Jinping arrested and killed all the doctors who provided any real information to other countries, news agencies, or provided information online over the coronavirus, like Dr. Li Wenliang, the whistleblower who was killed by Chinese officials but did not die of coronavirus, though China claimed he died of coronavirus. China was able to silence everyone, establishing censorship over the coronavirus using the WHO, which convinced many websites like Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter to take down any conspiracy theories against China. USA top medical advisor Dr. Fauci really doesn't know what he is talking about, has basic knowledge on cold viruses, but is simply repeating basic things he heard from the WHO based on the claims by Chinese officials and doctors. Dr. Fauci, like every top expert, are making up exaggerated claims, and they simply have no idea how any cold virus attacks the body. Their claim is that they know nothing about the coronavirus and there is no cure. If you ask Dr. Fauci how the pneumonia stage occurs, he would be clueless and tell you it's just dangerous and fatal, and I know this because I just saw him in a YouTube video on influenza just saying it's fatal at the end of the video, though he said nothing throughout the video, but somehow he tried to establish himself as an expert. Dr. Fauci is just a Trump spokesman who is repeating what he heard from the WHO and the CDC. One of the main bacteria that causes pneumonia is the Streptococcus pneumonia germ, which antibiotics can destroy, but since there is confusion and misinformation from top health officials, doctors aren't giving antibiotics to kill the bacteria like Streptococcus because they have no clue that the pneumonia is being caused by an opportunistic bacteria and not the coronavirus. Coronavirus COVID-19 had already infected thousands of people several months before the first positive patients were first tested in January in Europe and in USA, and even way before the first positive patients were tested in December in China. Thousands of Chinese may have been infected last spring or winter or maybe even in 2018 and traveled across the world infecting people, but because no country was testing patients for coronavirus COVID-19 nor did they have a coronavirus COVID-19 test, everyone that died were thought to have died of flu or other common cold viruses. It was only the whistleblower that revealed that some patients had tested positive for coronavirus in December in Wuhan, China, which he was quickly silenced and killed by Chinese government. Testing were not available for the coronavirus SARS-2 called COVID-19 until January in Europe and US, and most of those tested failed because they didn't reveal patients who have already built antibodies to coronavirus. The Chinese government made sure the real information is not available to the world but only fabricated lies.